Well, howdy, friends and floor heads. It is Sunday morning and a long break between episode 4 and 5, but we are here and ready to play. We're back, and just as a quick reminder, we are using the Shiver system. This is a system by Parable Games, and we're using their supplement of Shiver Gothic. It is a perfect tool to use to tell our Victorian tale. And if you missed the first 4 episodes, I'm going to catch you up real quick. Our doom clock, you'll notice, is only 3 ticks away from quarter after. We suspect that may happen this episode. But let's talk about where we are and how we got here. It's October 31st, 1888 in England. Our 4 characters are attending a getaway at the country estate of Lord and Lady Randolph Churchill in Hampshire by New Forest. The shadows of the Whitechapel murders loom over London and reach even here. Elizabetha has joined the others in Harry's room. She's revealed her ability to do an astral projection with the power of her mind. She floated into Sir Percival Blackwood's room, and she witnessed him consuming blood. She returned and asked Lady Rosalind questions about vampirism and mentioned that the locket broken during the gala could have released something. Upon that mention, we saw the mirror that hung above the hearth in Harry's room fall off the wall and shatter and break. We have a lot of questions to answer. Is Mr. Blackwood, Sir Blackwood, a vampire? And if so, what does it mean for Lady Rosalind? Harry has made a new life as a slayer of beasts like Blackwood. What will he do now with Lady Rosalind? And Elizabetha sensed a ghostly presence before the mirror broke. Can she help uncover what was actually released from that locket? Last but not least, Dr. Charlotte will have a lab ready in the basement by morning. What is she planning on doing with it? We're going to find all of that out on the other side of the opening credits.
Attention, brave viewers. This video features adults immersed in a spine-chilling horror RPG experience. The content likely includes supernatural elements, horror-related events, and potentially scenes of violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy.
So it's late. The 4 of you have had quite a day. You started the day off taking a long train ride from London to get out here to the New Forest. You encountered the wolf that was scared away by Lady Rosalind. We've had just a whirlwind of events that have happened throughout the day. Right before we broke at the end of episode 4, we got a chance to meet young Winston, 14-year-old Winston Churchill, who's quite fond of Harry and their relationship. We got to see them interact with each other. And then we got to see something going on with Percival Blackwood. We got a good idea if he's drinking blood, what he may or may not be. And then this presence that Elizabetha believes was part of that locket has been released. For everybody except Lady Rosalind, I want to get a sense if exhaustion is starting to kick in.
I mean, Harry's definitely feeling tired, but he's also kind of used to going long periods without sleep in the pursuit of his duties. So it's not really, freaking him out yet. He'll want to get some sleep soon if he can, but there's also stuff that needs to be done.
Dr. Charlotte, what is Emerson's sleep situation?
That's a really good question. I'm
I'm
feeling asleep.
going to give you some time to think about it because I don't know if we know the answer to that. So it's one that you're going to have to think about is, does he sleep? How often does he sleep? These are interesting questions that only I think you can answer. Elizabeth, what is it for you physically after you have projected yourself and have returned to your body again? What is that feeling that you have now?
I think at the moment, Elisa, I'm feeling euphoric. Actually, there's just so many impressions, and there's this presence here. And at the moment, I think it's adrenaline, it's euphoria, but at some point in time, I'm going to crash. But at the moment, I'm not feeling anything. I'm just feeling this is all so exciting and cool, and I'm here with friends, and yeah.
You're in your element.
I'm really excited.
And last but not least, Lady Rosalind, you're currently marked afraid. I think several things have kind of shook you at your core. What are you feeling right now?
It's kind of impossible for me to feel exhaustion on a physical level, but the emotional and the mental toll is heavy. So I do feel a little weak at the knees, a little in need of some quiet, some solitude, some time to think. And I think that she's just kind of ready to step away and recompose herself.
So the four of you are standing there. The wall mirror is shattered, and on the brickwork and the stonework of that hearth for the fireplace in Harry's room.
I'm looking around. I'm saying, as you said, I'm listening, and I'm just trying to sense if the presence is still there. Does it want to connect? Is it benevolent or is it malevolent towards us? Trying to get a sense, just overdrive.
Let's do a little strange roll.
Okay. Ooh.
Picked up a luck. Didn't roll as strange. You sense a few things, but it's going to be limited. One, the presence is no longer in the room, but you feel that it was here in the same way you felt it right before. That feeling is now gone. And on the malevolence thing, it's going to be non-specific. This thing is angry. Now, whether it's angry at you, at everything, at somebody else, I don't think you are able to pick that up.
Well, I think it made its point and it's gone now. It's or she is angry. Perhaps smashing the mirror got it out of its system, but
I imagine she'll be back
somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, your mic's cutting out, Brian. Just try that again.
I think the real question is, what is our esteemed neighbor up to?
Well, he was going to bed, at least when I last saw him. Just
Going to bed.
Well, I mean,
Like
he
to sleep.
drank a lot and threw the bottles out of the window, and then, I mean, he'd gotten undressed. So, I assume he'd be going to bed.
Is there anything we could learn from those bottles?
They threw them out the window. We could go look outside, although I don't know if it's still pouring down.
It is. Yeah, it's still storming really good. The thunder and the lightning are shaking the window to your room, Harry.
Well, rain's the least of my concerns right now. I'm happy to go and have a look if you think there's any value to be gained from them.
Well, I mean, unless the bottle shows the vintage, like AB plus or
And
it didn't look like wine. So
I'm kind of looking at Lady Rosalind at this point because I know she has had interest in such things before.
I am zoned out. I just collapsed into a chair and have like a 1,000-yard stare.
Well, I am going to go to sleep. It has been a very long day. Emerson needs to rest for a few hours. And quite frankly, I don't have a lab prepared yet. So, not saying I'm growing bored of your company. Just, I'm going to go to sleep.
It
sure we
might
could
be a
all
good
use
idea for you all to sleep.
I'm sure we could use the rest. I just hope there's no more screaming in the night. It's something we failed to do.
okay. Well,
Nothing
yeah.
you can do about it.
If anybody wants to stay and discuss plans, you're welcome to. But obviously, just be careful out there. We don't know what all's about.
All right.
Well, perhaps it is time for bed. And then we'll get up early, check the grounds. Maybe the weather's lightened up.
And discuss our plans.
All right. Well, I will go to the door, kind of open it, look out just in case there's any, horrible
Well,
things
there's someone
waiting in
standing
ambush.
there, actually, Brian. You open the door and you're slightly startled as someone is about to knock. So they've got like this gesture going, and the door was removed from where their knuckles were going to strike it. It's Lord Randolph. Harry,
Sorry, Craig. Say again. I lost that.
It's Lord Randolph,
Okay.
And he looks at you and he goes, "Oh, Harry, and then he notices your company and he goes, Harry, it seems a bit improper for you to be having these ladies in your room."
They were actually just leaving, sir.
I'd like some time with you if I could.
Of course, sir. And I will, gesture him in and kind of, shoo the ladies out as genteelly as I can.
Elizabeth gives a kind of a quick curtsy and goes out.
Yeah.
As I'm leaving, I'm gonna run my hand across Harry's chest. Like, next time.
God. And anybody who's like visually sees him like do a controlled flinch.
Oh, that's amazing.
If Lord Randolph a wink.
And he's trying to keep he's obviously very flustered by this entire situation. He did not anticipate,
and now Harry is.
Yeah, he did not anticipate knocking on Harry's door and him having a harem in his as you scatter, we'll talk to each one of you as you scatter. But first, I want to deal with Lord Randolph. Would it be proper for me to come in for just a moment?
Oh, of course, sir, please. And just to make clear, I apologize for the appearance here, but the young ladies and I are very concerned about some of the evening's events, and we were discussing what steps might be taken to ensure everyone's safety.
Which I understand, Harry. I also think that we have to have a certain level of decorum here in the estate, regardless of what's happening. So I would prefer it if you did not. I mean, if it's none of my business, Harry. It's none of my business. But I do need to talk about your business.
Very well.
And he closes the door behind him. You've been very vague about the type of work that you've been doing since you left our employ, but my understanding is, in talking with those in Scotland Yard, when your name has popped up, that you have been assisting with odd occurrences in London. Does that sound
I think that's
accurate?
fair to say, sir.
I need you to look at something. if you join me, I would like to go to Mr. Lusk's room. He's there with his bride, who she's still exhausted, and on the bed since her encounter with Dr. Charlotte. Do you mind coming?
Of course, sir. Anything I can do.
So he's going to lead you over to Lusk's room, which is another flight of stairs up on the third level of the house. Dr. Charlotte and Emerson, what are we doing?
We are going back to our room, and I'm going to prep him in for the night, which is probably putting some lotions and elixirs on him, and having him lay down and rest. He doesn't need as much rest as us, but he does need some time to essentially recharge.
Yep. Beautiful. Beautiful. Lady Rosalind, it sounds like you are also headed to your room. Does that sound accurate?
Actually, I am. As soon as that door closes, I'm going to stop and put my ear to it.
To listen to the conversation with Churchill and Harry?
Yes.
Right. Why don't you... I don't need a roll. You hear that conversation. So everything that you heard that discussed, and you can hear them now about to leave.
I'll slip behind the door.
Excellent.
See me, and then I'm going to follow them.
Excellent.
Discreetly.
Excellent. Elizabeth?
I go back to my room, and I'm still a bit wired. I walk around, check the locks, lock the door, check all my pockets, find some more canapes, snack on them, and then I'm like, oh, okay, how do I protect myself against vampires? Check my suitcase, and then I don't know, at some point I think it all kind of hits me, and I'm like, I'm too tired for this. And I climb into bed, pull the covers over me, and fall asleep.
Can I get a quick wits roll from you?
Was smart, too smart.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to use those smarts actually for this. I'm not going to give you everything, but the one thing I will say is when you're having that moment of, I've got to protect myself against vampires, you look around your room and at this time, you would have expected at least a cross somewhere. The Churchills are devout, Church of England, and he talks about his religion all of the time when he's in Parliament. It's a cornerstone of the conservative movement that he's trying to push force in Parliament, and it just stands out that there's no Bible, no crosses, and it's not a situation where anything's missing, but it just kind of registers in your head that you notice that.
Weird. I'm tired. I'm gonna sleep.
Excellent. Harry, we've got Lord Churchill taking you up flight of steps. Lady Rosalind, I don't need a roll for you. You can easily shadow them without being sneaky. In fact, because of your heightened senses, you can give them a lot of room. You don't have to. They can turn corners and you can still hear their hearts beating, let alone other things. He takes you to Lusk's room and he opens the door. He says, George, of course you've met Harry, and you come into the room. Lusk is still bandaged up from where Dr. Charlotte kind of fixed him up from the bolt. His wife is very pale, covered with extra blankets in the bed. He's sitting in a chair. Randolph closes the door and goes, Harry, I need you to look at something. Lusk, give me the letter. And he hands you something that you've heard about, but you, of course, have not seen. So I'm going to quickly show this to you. This is something that Brian knows. It's the
This is
famous
the From
For
Hell.
From Hell, yep. So if you don't mind, I've got the text of it written out. Those are not typos. That is actually how the letter was written. You mind just giving the audience a quick read?
Sure. Mr. Lusk, sir, I send you half the kidney I took from one woman, preserved it for you. To other piece I fried and ate. It was very nice. I may send you the bloody knife that took it out if you only wait a while longer. Signed, Catch Me When You Can, Mr. Lusk. And this is this made the news? So this is something Harry would know about?
Yes. Yep. So and the text of this was put out in the papers. But you're now holding the physical letter.
Right.
That George Lusk received. And Randolph, Lord Churchill goes, Harry, can you get any sense of who would do this and who would write such a thing?
If you're asking me who the Whitechapel murderer is, sir, if I had any clue, I'd have turned it in long ago. It strikes me as a madman, but I don't know that I have any insight on it. I mean, I'm guessing, and Craig, you tell me, is there anything on the physical object itself that gives me any kind of inclination or insight that it might be something other than a crazy person?
Yeah, let's do a smarts roll.
I can do that, in theory. I have a luck. A luck doesn't do me any good.
Well, if you spend a luck, you'll add a die.
Oh, well.
Oh, look at you.
Don't need it.
So if you still have a luck banked, you're not going to be able to bank those, but you can turn 2 into a success.
let's make it a 2 success roll.
All right, 2 successes. All right, so you're looking at this. The first thing you notice is the handwriting. And at first glance, it looks erratic. It looks uneducated. But you spend a little bit more time looking at it, Harry, and you realize, wait a second, this is purposeful. The penmanship is inconsistent, as if this is not how this person would normally write, right? If someone writes, then their E's are always going to look the same. Their I's are always going to look the same. Whereas if someone's trying to mimic something, you're picking up some inconsistencies. The second success, go ahead.
I'll probably be talking this out as I see it.
Excellent.
Just to sort of share my thoughts with Lusk and Churchill.
The second piece the type of language that's being used is purposeful and hyperbolic almost. So you can tell that whoever wrote this is trying to appear to be something else, not an uneducated crazy person who can't spell. And 2, the choices of the adjectives and things like that are just being deliberately shocking. And I think the impression you get, Harry, from this is that this letter is not what it seems.
This is an educated person trying to appear as an uneducated person.
That's the feeling that you get. And I don't know if you can go as far as say it's an educated person, but somebody's definitely who has more education than the letter is trying to appear. Right.
And I believe at this time, I mean, the the wounds seem to suggest that it was someone who had some medical training, or there was a theory going on about that.
There is talk. There has been rumors of that somebody,
Mhm.
yes, that somebody was potentially a taxidermist or a doctor or even a veterinarian has been thrown out
Mhm.
there. That the
Mhm.
type of wounds have been very clean and deliberate, not crazed
Right.
on that. And Lusko's, I'm sorry, because you've been saying this all out loud.
Mhm.
Are you saying that
Mhm.
more than one person wrote this?
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
understand.
I shouldn't think so. I believe it's someone that is trying to appear more uneducated. They're trying to throw you off the scent. It would be my read on it, sir, if I can be so bold. They're trying to look like they're just some sort of lower class, uneducated madmen. And I think there's more to it than that. I think they're hiding their true self. I mean, look at these S's. You know, they're very different, as though someone's not writing in their normal hand.
I I guess it seems to me that you are reading very deeply into this and making a lot of assumptions when you say, sir.
I've been asked to share my opinion, sir, and I've done so. I wish that I could be more certain, but it's not a lot to.
Do you feel that this was not written by the murderer?
That I can't say. But if it was, I think the murderer is, again, as I say, trying to deceive regarding their actual nature.
He seems
He,
annoyed.
he or she would know well enough that anything from you would get up and gone, and he knows they'd examine it carefully. And I think he's looking for looking to throw the hounds off the scent, as it were.
Lord Randolph, I appreciate you bringing this man in, and I don't doubt his expertise, but I feel like we're overthinking things, and I think it is exactly what it presents itself to be. But of course, Scotland Yard, that's where I think we'll get this expertise from it. So what are we going to do about this Dr. Charlotte and my wife? And Lord Randolph turns to you, Harry, and goes,
Mhm.
she's here with you, sir, and I do understand George's concern. If there's concerns that she did this, and he kind of gestures to the wife.
I can assure you that not only would she not have done such a thing, I'm not certain she could.
So I guess my next question for you is, what is your explanation then? So if you're going to stand for her as her defender here, I need to get an understanding of what your defense is, because all we know is that it was a closed room and she was violently attacked, and the only person that was in that room is that Dr. Charlotte and that small odd boy of hers.
Let me ask you something in turn, if I may, Mr. Lusk. The Cowdreys, when they were here earlier with that locket, have they discussed any of their concerns with you before staging their little display?
Yes, they have come to several of the meetings, and they don't feel that neither Scotland Yard nor my efforts are bearing any fruit, and they are convinced that if someone of a higher station had been a victim of this awfulness, that it would be getting far more attention. But because it's happening in Whitechapel, they're convinced that it's of lesser importance. But I can assure you, I am in charge of the Merchants Guild, and that includes Whitechapel. The reason that I have organized and begun my investigations internally is I don't want to leave this to just Scotland Yard. So their accusations that I and or anyone is not pursuing this is silliness. I mean, we just showed you part of the evidence here. It's obviously critical to us that we find this out. It's hurting that part of London. Many of my constituents and fellow merchants there are having difficulties. People are afraid to go there at night. And even though I would not frequent the type of establishments that are open in Whitechapel in the evening, they still are a revenue source for some of my constituents. So, yes, I have interacted with them before, and in no way does this justify that little display that unfortunately Lord Churchill here is going to have to, deal with the shame of. I mean, I'm sorry, Randall, but the shame of what was displayed here.
Mr. Lusk, you strike me as a man of reason. Is that fair to say?
That is very fair to say, sir.
I imagine you do not believe in ghosts and spirits and such like.
Only if I was trying to scare a small child, but no, I don't believe in such things.
Well, there are certainly people here that do believe in such things. And I believe that somehow Mrs. Cowdery may have fallen afoul of such a person. The little display with that locket and her sudden collapse afterwards suggests that she thought, logically or not, that she had some sort of connection with the spirit of one of these murdered women. Now, one thing I can tell you with great certainty is that Dr. Aldridge is a woman of science. And I believe that she is doing everything she can to find a rational explanation for all this. And if we rule out the possibility of ghosts, I think she's your best bet.
Lusk stands up and he talks of you like you're not in the room.
I'm used
turns to Randolph and he goes, "I'm tired, Randy, and I am tired of your friend. I'm tired of who he travels with. And I assume that there are plans to get us out of here in the morning. And I look forward to that." Randall says, "There's no need for this, George. I understand you're frustrated. Why don't you tidy up for the night? We should get word on whether the bridge is in any way allowed passage going forward. A lot of it depends on this storm. And Harry, could you, if you don't mind stepping out now,
Of course.
where is Lady Rosalind?"
How close would I need to be in order to hear it? Would I need to be against the door?
No, but near the door.
Okay. I'm going to stay nearby and I'm going to listen. Does it sound like it's just Harry coming towards me? Just one set of footsteps?
No, I think Lord Randolph and Harry are going to be leaving.
All right. I am going to step into a darkened corner or something.
Okay.
And just kind of let them walk past.
Randolph opens the door and gestures for Harry for you to step out.
Okay.
When you get out to the hallway, he closes the door and he goes, "I'm sorry, Harry. He's obviously quite shook, and he was rude, and I apologize."
No offense taken, sir. I can't blame him, but he's clearly a man who only hears what he wants to hear.
He's a stubborn man, and that's why, unfortunately, I think that his dreams of increasing his station are just that. They are dreams, because he obviously does not understand basic decorum. That was definitely uncalled for. I'm going to head to bed. I would recommend you do the same, and maybe we can chat up tomorrow if you have any more thoughts.
I would be glad to, sir. If I may ask one thing before you retire for the evening, and I will apologize in advance for even raising the issue, but Sir Blackwood, it is my understanding that your current staff under Mr. Westbrook all came here en masse from Sir Blackwood's estate. Did that strike you as odd at all?
It struck me as an incredible degree of kindness. We had the previous staff. I don't know what got them stirred up, but I got a series of resignation letters. We were in a bit of a spot, and luckily Percy was in the process of expanding his staff, and he was very kind to allow me to have Westbrook come over, and was even kinder to allow Westbrook to bring people with him. Harry, I'm slightly confused by your question. Why would you even care, sir?
As I say, sir, I apologize for the impertinence of the question, but in the on and elsewhere, there is a lot that can be read from simply observing a person's mannerisms and character. And forgive me for saying so, sir, but my gut tells me that Sir Blackwood is not perhaps as kind and well-intentioned as he may seem.
I need a heart check for you.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be something like that, and I think I'll put that luck into this one.
Great, yeah. So that'll add a die.
Let's
Yes,
see.
it is.
That goes up there. Well, if I can.
You can convert that.
If I can convert those
Harry.
luck,
Yeah, you sure can.
I'll
So we've
take
got
it.
that, and we've got two smarts here too, right? So
Mhm.
not only are you going to succeed as far as being, and the reason I asked for heart check is I think this is a matter of presence and trust, not you trying to outsmart anybody, right?
Mhm.
Though I think that the two smarts tells me that you worded this such that Churchill says, maybe I'm blind to it. Percy and I have been friends for a very long time, and he's always been a good friend. And now that you kind of phrase it this way, it does, if for an outsider, someone who's been outside of our relationship and outside of the situation, for you, I can understand what you're saying. I guess what motive are you putting for Percy?
I don't know enough of one yet, sir. But have you noticed any changes in his behavior of late? If I may be so bold.
No, he's just as aloof as he's always been. No, I have not noticed anything. Well, so I've invited him to this party for years now, and we always would extend the invitation, and he always said that he is not one to go outside of London. It was odd. He actually lobbied me to make sure that he was invited this year. So I guess that's odd.
And Harry just kind of goes, and basically I'm content with just having planted that seed.
Okay.
That's really all I could ask for at this point.
And you did it successfully. Yeah, you can see that in Lord Randolph's face, where before it was just him and his buddy Percy being, and now he's just kind of going, oh, wait a minute, yeah, like Brian's connecting some yarn strings here that makes a little bit of sense to him. So you have sown a little bit of doubt in Lord Randolph for sure.
It may be nothing. Let's hope everything. But as always, I'm at your disposal if there's anything I can do.
Very, very good, Harry. Thank you. And he's going to step away.
Okay, I will start heading back to my room.
Lady Rosalind?
And I'm going to just appear next to him.
Jeez! Would you not do that?
Sorry, it's my nature. I guess you could say.
Mm,
What was that all about?
I'm sure you heard it.
A bit. I was just wondering if you would tell me.
Well, basically, and not entirely surprisingly, Lord Randolph wants to know what the hell is going on around here. And it's not as though I can tell him that his preferred guest is a vampire, and there's also the ghost of a dead woman wandering around looking for revenge.
I mean, you could.
Yes, and get myself thrown into the basement and confined to a loony bin afterwards.
Probably, yes. Not very nice places.
Hmm. If you
Where
have
are you
any
headed?
suggestions, well, I was headed to bed, if that's all right with you.
Of course, I'll walk with you. Is that all right?
And he doesn't say yes, but he also doesn't say no. He kind of begrudgingly extends an elbow.
Oh, I'll take his arm. Also, put a hand on it.
All right, so the two of you, unwitnessed, make it back to the front of Harry's door.
Best not to be alone.
No, I'll be all right, thank you.
All right. I mean, don't go wandering. I wasn't suggesting anything, Harry.
I was not implying anything. Just wish to be clear, madam. I wish you a good night's rest.
Indeed. Good night, Harry.
Go into my room and lock the door. Good night.
Okay.
And I'll head back to mine as well.
So, Lady Rosalind, you get to your room. Compared to Harry's room, yours is about twice the size. You can tell that the Churchills are pretty set on impressing you. Having you come to this party is almost as big of, probably a bigger deal than even Blackwood showing up.
Wow.
Yeah, and as you come into the room, obviously staff has already lit the room, so you've got some candles there. And within about 20 seconds of you being in the room, you register you're not alone. And as soon as that registers, you turn to the corner of the room, and Sir Blackwood is sitting there in the chair.
I'll give him a smile. Good evening. Wasn't expecting company.
I wasn't expecting you.
Does anybody expect me, darling?
Is it fair that we can do away with facades?
I believe so.
I'm going to try to explain this to you, child. But I'm also going to respect you. I don't know whether you recognize this, but I am considerably older than you. And you understand, I come from a lineage that is way beyond yours. I have no interest in getting involved in your business, and I would expect the same courtesy.
I think you can expect courtesy from me. I do respect where you're coming from. I have so many questions, though. How? I could help you.
My dear, no, you cannot help me. You cannot help me, and quite frankly, under different circumstances, maybe when we get back to London, we should possibly connect. You are naive, and you are young. And let me ask you this, Lady Rosalind. Do any of your compatriots know what you are?
No.
Who in London does?
In London, no one. I'm about to leave anyway. It's about that time.
Very well. When you get back to London, maybe we should have lunch next week. I can bring you up to speed, potentially give you some information about your lineage and how it ties back to mine, and reinforce the guidelines that we operate in London with.
If there have been guidelines in London, why am I just now hearing about it? I've been active for decades this time. I've been working with the Order for centuries. Where have you been? How have we never crossed paths? And young, I am the eldest that I have ever met before you.
You're
Ever.
proving my point, Lady Rosalind, that you might be a very large fish in a very tiny pond. Your little order, we allow that. But there's things in place in London that you and your little orphanage have no understanding of. And until you came here, you never even got on our radar. But now you are here. I am caution with your company, especially the carriage man.
Is going to be a problem, I think.
He is a problem, my dear, because I don't know if you realize what he does.
I have sort of a vague idea, Gramps.
If you have any affinity for him, I would make it clear to him that he does not want to cross me. Because though I have seen him encounter things that he thought were great and powerful, he has no idea what I am. I think you barely do. So can I count on you to keep that little thing out of my way?
I have no control over him.
You're weaker than I thought.
I don't know him.
I'm sure you don't. It was good to catch up, Lady Rosalind.
This is the first time we've met. There is no catch-up.
I'll have my secretary reach out next week, and we can connect.
Don't bother.
And,
Take care, Lord Blackfoot.
he's going to leave.
I'm going to collapse into the chair.
So I would like a quick strange roll from you, if I could, Lady Rosalind.
I noticed you're not going to follow him back to his room.
No. No, we're going to be coming from so far away. Okay, strange.
Excellent. You can bank that
Right.
luck if you want.
I've got one.
Lady Rosalind, he was not bluffing. And even though a lot of what he said to you was news to you, you believe him. And he smells old. And the big thing is he smells of Westbrook. So that scent that you picked up from Westbrook, you pick up from him as well. So any doubts that you had about Blackwood's influence are now gone. And he is obviously, he hasn't turned Westbrook, but he has imprinted him in a way that I don't think you know how to do.
No, I wouldn't think so. I don't. I'm going to just wait a little while. I'm going to go lock the door. Not that it'll do any good, but I am going to lock the door. And I'll grab one of my bottles, and I'm just going to sit and breathe and think.
Yeah.
And let everyone else get some rest.
Okay.
They're ready.
You can move to stable. And do we do anything before we cut to morning?
I don't
All
think
right.
so.
I think everybody gets a good night's sleep. Lady Rosalind at least rests. It's a brand new day.
Well, I'm up early, and I imagine, I'm gonna cautiously head downstairs and try and catch a glimpse of my other investigator types and see if we can catch up. I don't want to say friends yet, but
The one thing I will tell you, Harry, is as you got up in the morning and looked outside, there's just a steady rain outside. The storm seems to have passed, but it's still just a steady rain outside. And now, in the light of day, looking out from your window, you can see the effects of this storm. There's several trees that have fallen out in the perimeter of the forest, and there's just debris all over the grounds of branches and such. When you get downstairs, there'll be a footman that greets you and says, "Breakfast, sir?
yes, please."
Come with
And
me."
and as I do, I'll sort of, making small talk. So, quiet night, was it?
Yes, sir.
Good. We're due for a little peace and quiet.
So he's going to take you to the ballroom, which has now been converted to multiple tables, and people are being served by the staff for breakfast. We established that Harry got up early. Did he get up before everybody else? Where's everybody else?
I'm already at breakfast.
Okay, excellent. So Harry, as you come in, you will see Lady Rosalind sitting at one of the tables.
Dressed much more simply today and not nearly as much jewelry. She's definitely like
Toned it
been
down.
brought down a notch and is kind of struggling with her new identity crisis that she's having. So much more simple, relaxed today, just with a glass in front of me, no food.
Are any of the other, for shorthand purposes, important NPCs here?
So Churchill has a table, and Blackwood is there. Lusk is there. It doesn't appear that Aberline is in the room, so Inspector Aberline is not there. Who else do you see? You definitely see. You see the boys. The boys are sitting at their own table with the nanny. Serafina and her Lord Reginald Montague, they have their own little table. They're sitting there as well with two other guests you're not familiar with. Who else?
The Ashcrofts, they strike me as late risers, maybe.
Yeah, the Ashcrofts are not there. Yeah, I think that's all that's there at this point. It sounds like Dr. Charlotte is sleeping in a little bit potentially. Has not gotten up quite yet. I don't know.
Yeah, Dr. Charlotte is not joining. I'm not joining this breakfast. I've already had to pretend to be normal all last night, and it's just so much brain energy.
How about you, Elizabeth?
I think Elisabetta slept hard, but woke up early and quite early, and she went down to the kitchens and with her pack of cards and try to engage the staff, get bacon, have breakfast with them, and perhaps turn some cards for some of the maids, like, oh yes, a handsome stranger, and just so she was there early, and I think that after half an hour, she went back up to her rooms, put on all her black clothes, black black gloves, heavy black cape. And I think probably not too long after Harry, she's come into the dining room and looking for a table somewhere out of view for second breakfast.
So I would like a heart check, because I think that this connection with the staff could be meaningful if we can get some successes on that heart check.
I'll add another luck to that.
Perfect.
Do you put that in the skill dice or the?
It'll be skill dice. Yep.
Yeah, skill dice. So up there.
In your interactions with the staff, they were very focused on feeding an entire estate worth of guests, right? So you were annoying, and they kind of skittered you around. When Westbrook showed up, he shooed you out and just said, "This is not a place for guests," and such. The one thing that you noticed was how incredibly coordinated the staff was. And it was not indicative of of a new staff, but part of that makes sense, right? If they'd worked together before in the Blackwood, for the Blackwood family, you would understand them being so coordinated here. But Westbrook was visibly annoyed by your presence, and I think he was a little stern with you, and as you got shooed off. So Harry, when you arrive, you see Lady Rosalind, you see the other guests that I mentioned. What's your plan?
Well, I will probably take a seat opposite Lady Rosalind, hopefully in an angle where I can at least have like some peripheral vision on Churchill's table.
Yep.
You'd have to sit next to me then, because I have sat directly in Lord Blackwood's sight line, and I am.
Right. Well, if this is a round table, I'll sit 90 degrees off from you.
Got it. All right.
Seating is very important in these situations, you see.
Is there any conversation before Elizabetha gets there?
I don't say anything.
I just say good morning and leave it at that.
Good morning. I'll give you a good morning back.
A footman greets you at the bottom of the steps, Elizabetha, and escorts you to the ballroom, which has been converted to the large dining area now. You do see Lady Rosalind and Harry sitting there.
I'm gonna hesitate in the door, like, do I join them or do I, where do I sit?
If Harry sees you, I'll kind of, give a head nod this way.
Then as soon as, if I'm acknowledged, I'll head over to you guys and join. So, morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll lean forward. Is there something here that you haven't seen?
Probably.
Yeah, no, just, look around. In the rooms as well, it's just...
Yeah, and Elizabetha, you are being hyper conscious of this, right? So as you walked through the halls, as you go down, like there's no indication of Christianity, no signs of Christianity in this estate.
So, Harry, you used to work here, right? Or for the Churchills, but well, to be honest, I haven't been in much places like this, but I haven't seen one single crucifix or anything, they don't, I haven't even seen any paintings of the baby Jesus. It's just, is that usual?
Is that different from how it used to be when I was here?
Very. There
Right.
were crucifixes in every room. There would be, to Elizabetha's point, so there are some pictures that are missing. Something I don't think you pieced together, Harry. Maybe everything felt a little off, but boy, as soon as she starts talking, you start looking around, you're like, holy shit.
My God, you're right.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, and then
Well,
thank you. Bacon and eggs, please.
well, if the it kind of nods his head up in the direction of Churchill's tables, if the one of the guests of honor isn't fond of such things and the staff is from his household, perhaps they've cleaned things up for his arrival.
He couldn't get in otherwise.
You think?
I very much think.
Elizabeth will glance up at the table, see Lord Blackwood, and look right down.
I'm
again.
still.
He just goes beet red and starts,
Haven't stopped looking at him the whole time.
And Lady Rosalind, he is not returning the attention.
I don't expect him to.
Yeah. Let's cut up to Dr. Charlotte's room.
Yeah. Right now you'll see her in the mirror giving herself a pep talk. I'm like, all right, we can do this. This should be the last day. The lab should be done. We need to eat. Yes. All right. Let's go, Emerson.
Yeah, and there's a light rap on the door, a polite staff knock.
That was almost my last straw. Come in.
So the door slowly opens, and it's the same footman that you had given the exorbitant list to. He says, "Yes, doctor. We have collected everything for you and found some space in the basement as you requested. I will take you down there, but I feel compelled for this. I think we need to talk to Lord Churchill. I don't feel comfortable doing this in his estate without his blessing. So if you don't mind, I'd like to maybe the three of us maybe come down to breakfast, and I just want to confirm with him that this collection and this area we've prepared for you. I'm sorry. I have to tell Lord Churchill.
Oh my gosh. I assumed you would have told him as soon as I sent you off on that mission. That would have been the proper thing to do, yes?
Oh God. Yes.
So you've already got this all set up and you haven't told the master of the house.
Oh no. No, I have not.
Well, what would you like to do?
He might be a bit cross that I've done this, don't you think?
I do think so.
Give me a heart check.
I love it.
I'm gonna use my luck to get an additional die. Oh, son of a bitch.
He says, maybe we should go. Maybe we should go consult with Mr. Westbrook.
Oh, of course, yes.
Follow me.
Can we do it after breakfast, just a little bit?
I have him come by your table.
Oh, yes, lovely. Lead me to the. I forget where I am.
and he does.
It's been a long day.
So he takes you and Emerson down the grand staircase into the repurposed ballroom, and of course you see Lady Rosalind and Elizabeth and Harris sitting there. The footman just assumes and just starts walking you towards that table.
Oh yeah, I go sit right next to Rosalind and just say, I am going insane here.
Tell me about it. Don't look at you.
And I follow her eyes. Did you see him naked as well?
Not yet.
Oh,
Why did you?
no, I thought. Anyway, well, it's just an update. I have a lab ready. The problem is the little footman, he did not tell Lord Churchill, but it's already set up. So, well, what is the gentleman name? Mr. Westbrook. He'll be coming to our table to speak with me about it.
He's coming here. Westbrook is coming over here.
Yes. Why?
We should
Why?
leave. We should leave.
Wait, what is happening?
We should go home. We should load up today.
Well, we
and go
can't
back to
actually,
London.
can we? As far as I
Where-
know, the bridge is still out.
Oh, all right. Well, we can swim it. We should just leave.
What is wrong?
Yes. Everything here is wrong.
Hmm.
Everything.
Concerning. I'll take a muffin. Hmm. Is it safe to talk about it here?
I don't think it's going to be safe to talk about it anywhere.
Mm.
No, it's not going to be safe as long as we're here. We should leave.
Well, I'm not just going to abandon these people to whatever they've got in mind.
We cannot stop this.
It's not
with that
often that I
attitude.
disagree with you, Lady Rosalind, but I think we can.
You're wrong this time, Dr. Charlotte.
Oh, come now. Maybe one or two people will die.
There is going to be far more than that. And if we don't want to be one of those people, then we should leave.
I think for a moment, and I'll say, well, there's also a very likelihood chance I will have to move from London, change my name, things of that nature.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing that soon as well. You can come with me.
I'd love that.
Oh, great.
So that's when Westbrook comes to the table.
I'll stiffen as soon as he approaches.
He says, Mr. Jones sent me over here, doctor, and he explained to me your request, and he took the initiative to acquire your interesting list of items and has set you up in one of the basement areas. And I must ask, what are those things, and what are you doing down there?
Oh, just simple experiments to keep my hands busy. I do understand that sometimes I can be a little bit upsetting to other people, especially with a lot of my work. It's to keep myself busy and to keep my lab work going, as I am, for lack of a better term, trapped here due to the bridge being out. But if you would prefer, I can certainly mingle.
No, I understand that, Doctor. I think that Lord Churchill would expect his guests to be having leisure time as opposed to work.
Well,
Is that what this
my
is for? Is to continue your
Boy.
work?
well, no, that is also my leisure time as well.
Give me a heart check.
Sorry, is that confusing? I like to work.
Weirdo.
Yes, no one likes to
Good
work.
Protestant work ethic there, huh?
Son of a bitch.
He says, and you can bank that luck. He says, Doctor, I'm going to ask that you refrain from going down there. I would like to inspect what has been gathered for you and get a better understanding. Hey, George, thanks for the sub. Get a better understanding of what the hell is that this is for.
Oh, of course. And out of curiosity, and she'll produce the list and pass it to him as well. What would you be able to gather from this list of items? I'm assuming you are also a science man.
Uh, no, and I guess
Ah,
it's very unclear. These are very odd.
oh, understandable. Well, I will wait for your final decision.
He's going to step away.
And as he leaves, I'm going to say, I hate it here. And
Me too.
all right, we're fine. We're
Well, certainly, if you feel your best bet is to run home with your tail between your legs, that's certainly an option. I intend to do what I can to put an end to whatever it is that's going on here. There's too many
At
people
least
here
I'll
who
be
are
able to
important
go
to me.
home.
You don't have a home.
I have many, many homes.
Yes, you have many houses, I'm sure. I wouldn't call any of them a home.
You would die. You would die for these people.
If I have to, I prefer to live for them.
Harry, I don't even understand what it is we're up against. Me. This is so much more beyond what I have ever encountered.
well. So, Elizabetha, how has your sleep been?
Well, good, deep. Did you notice there's no crucifixes anywhere?
For the best, right? No, no, would not be.
So, uh,
Hmm.
so what are we doing? I mean, if I look towards Charlotte, are you staying?
I'm of two thoughts. I would love to stay and figure out what's going on. And then the other thought is being around these people are insufferable. They just don't understand anything. But I am curious about what's happening. I am not a hero nor savior as Harry is. But I am curious. And this does seem nefarious.
And I'll look at Harry and say, Harry, you used to come here, right? You
I
know
used
this
to work
place?
here.
Okay. Well, and I'll look to Lady Rosalind. If you know a spot that we can go to that's private, and they
Basement.
don't notice, well, I might have a way to get some answers if you have questions. And I look to Lady Rosalind and to Charlotte.
That's good.
It's a rainy day, anyway.
Yeah, is it still raining, Craig?
It is.
Is
I
there
mean-
any gazebos on the property?
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to get outside of here, I would imagine, yeah, like a covered sitting area that's on the grounds. I think that that makes a ton of sense to me.
Okay. I mean, I will certainly suggest a place I know or remember.
Mm-hmm.
And, if we can get some umbrellas, go out for a bit of a walk.
So as you guys are kind of wrapping up, Dr. Charlotte, you see the twins come into the dining room, and William starts to walk towards you, and we see his sister grab his arm and physically redirect him to sit as far away from you as possible.
I'm going to call out Evelyn, William, over here.
Oh, God. Weren't we just going to go?
Well, don't worry. We're still going to go.
So Evelyn is not allowing this. She is forcing William to go sit at a table again, as geometrically as far from you, Dr. Charlotte, as possible.
What'd you do to her?
Honestly, the last time I've spoken to her, we left off on good terms. So I'm not necessarily sure. Also, she may be a monster, but
She's not human.
absolutely not.
Oh,
And
God. Can we
she has a
prioritize,
hold on
please?
William. It's a small side project. It's fine. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Let's go for a walk in the rain.
So you get to the front door area. Footman says, "No, of course I can get you umbrellas, but I do recommend you stay close. It's the woods are close, and you never know quite what's out there. But no, you could go to the gazebo if you'd like."
Thank you. I know the grounds well.
And we see the four of you do that. So let's go ahead and cut to the damp but covered large gazebo area. And the four of you arrive.
I hate it here. So I'm just like drenched. I hate this.
Oh, well, at least we're not inside there with, well, whatever's inside there. So a bit of fresh air, and I kind of wipe down. I assume there's a table in the center of the gazebo. So I kind of wipe it down, and I look to the three of you. I haven't done this a lot before, but if there's any, questions you have, perhaps, think on a question that you want to answer. Just concentrate on that question, and I'll take out from the folds of my cape this folded piece of parchment paper. Unfold it again, and it's got a nearly waxy quality to it, and in seems near charcoaly. There's the alphabets being written in a circle around it, or two semicircles. And I place it on the table, and I flatten it, and I take off one of my gloves, and I take out the small metallic ball that you'd seen before. I place that in the center in my hand on it, and I looked to the three of you and say, okay, who wants to ask the first question?
I think we're going to find out in 10 minutes. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back in 10.
In the year of 1888, under a moonlit sky so late, Harry hunts the shadows where the monsters lie in wait. Elizabeth's crystal ball reveals the hidden truth. She sees the threads of fate in the echoes of her youth. Dr. Charlotte's mad machines, sparked by a lightning's kiss, in her lab of darkened dreams, she concocts her twisted bliss. Lady Rosalie in satin, with a mask of pure disguise, holds secrets in her gaze behind her emerald eyes. At the Churchill country estate, where the darkness whispers fate, a Halloween masquerade, where fears and masks cascade. In the Gothic halls they roam, far from Whitechapel's tomb, the hunters and the haunted, beneath the crimson moon. In the mansion's haunted halls, where the shadows come alive, the whispers of the Whitechapel murders keep the night deprived. Harry wields his silver blade in search of beasts unseen, while Elizabeth's visions dance in spectral spectral silver sheen. Dr. Charlotte's laugh rings warm through the midnight's chilling air. Her creations stir and shudder with a manic, deadly flare. Lady Rosalie glides through with a grace that chills the bone. In the gallows' eerie glow, they stand together, yet alone. Mansions, haunted halls, where the shadows come alive. The whispers of the Whitechapel murders keep the night deprived. Harry wields his silver blade in search of beasts unseen, while Elizabeth's visions dance in spectral silver sheen. Dr. Charlotte's laugh rings warm through the midnight's chilling air. Her creations stir and shudder with a manic, deadly flare. Lady Rosalie glides through with a grace that chills the bone. In the gallows' eerie glow, they stand together, yet alone. In the gallows' eerie glow, they stand together, yet alone. In the year of 1888, under a moonlit sky so late, Harry hunts the shadows where the monsters lie in wait. Elizabeth's crystal ball reveals the hidden truth. She sees the threads of fate in the echoes of her youth. Dr. Charlotte's mad machines, sparked by a lightning's kiss, in her lab of darkened dreams, she concocts her twisted bliss. Lady Rosalie in satin, with a mask of pure disguise, holds secrets in her gaze behind her emerald eyes. At the Churchill country estate, where the darkness whispers fate, a Halloween masquerade, where fears in masks cascade. In the Gothic halls they roam, far from Whitechapel's doom. The hunters and the haunted, beneath the crimson moon. In the mansion's haunted halls, where the shadows come alive, the whispers of the Whitechapel murders keep the night deprived. Harry wields his silver blade in search of beasts unseen, while Elizabeth's visions dance in spectral silver sheen. Dr. Charlotte's laugh rings warm through the midnight's chilling air. Her creations stir and shudder with a manic, deadly flare. Lady Rosalie glides through with a grace that chills the bone. In the gallows' eerie glow, they stand together, yet alone. Harry wields his silver blade in search of beasts unseen, while Elizabeth's visions dance in spectral silver sheen. Dr. Charlotte's laugh rings warm through the midnight's chilling air. Her creations stutter and shudder with a manic deadly flare. Lady Rosalie glides through with a grace that chills the bone. In the gallery's eerie glow, they stand together near the moon. In the gala's eerie glow, they stand together yet alone. In the year of 1888, under a moonlit sky so late, Harry hunts the shadows where the monsters lie in wait. Elizabeth's crystal ball reveals the hidden truth. She sees the threads of fate in the echoes of her youth. Dr. Charlotte's mad machines, sparked by a lightning's kiss, in her lab of darkened dreams, she concocts her twisted bliss. Lady Rosalie in satin, with a mask of pure disguise, holds secrets in her gaze behind her emerald eyes. At the Churchill country estate, where the darkness whispers fate, a Halloween masquerade, where fears and masks cascade. In the Gothic halls they roam, far from Whitechapel's tomb. The hunters and the haunted, beneath the crimson moon. In the mansion's haunted halls, where the shadows come alive, the whispers of the Whitechapel murders keep the night deprived. Harry wields his silver blade in search of beasts unseen.
So it's early morning. There's no sun. Everything's very, very gray. Outside of the open area that you're in, the rain is still beating down. And like I said, even though the storm may be over, the light show and the sound show may not be here, it is still heavy rains. And all four of you, your shoes are covered in the mud that you had to trudge through as you walked over to get here. Elizabeth, you have spread out this spirit board on the table. You have the metal ball. What's next?
I place my my ungloved hand on the ball, then take it off again and take my other glove off. And I look to the others and say, "Who wants to go first? Try and ask a question that the answer won't be that long, because I need to spell it out. So think hard on the question. You know, yes or no are easiest, but it can be an open question. Yeah, and I put my one hand on the metal globe and hold my other hand out. Just hold my hand, think on the question, and ask it.
All right, so we're going to do a few things here. For those of you that are watching that are familiar with this, the spirit board is something that I got being a patron of Parable Games. They put out all kinds of material for this game as part of the being a patron there. So a quick plug for their Patreon. If you enjoy their work as much as I do, it's money well spent. So the first thing we need to do, Elizabeth, is we need to make the connection. So I need a strange roll. Because you are in an open area, the spirit board gives you a minor advantage. So you'll add a d6 to this strange roll.
So to the talent dice pool or
To skill.
Nice.
to the skill? So I am another skill dice. Okay. Let's see.
You got this.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And
Two
I'm gonna.
strange. And you got 2
and-
luck. You can make that 3 strange. Now, each of the stranges you get here is going to be how many questions you can ask. So right now you can ask 2. If you want to convert those lucks, though, you could ask 3.
I'll convert the lucks to a third question.
All right. So that the use of the board to make the connection gives me a tick.
And I
Elizabeth,
imagine that there's a
go
kind of a crinkle to the paper and kind of I feel a buzz in the globe, and perhaps the others see just kind of there's a kind of static electricity seems to be in the air,
Mm-hmm.
and whoever reaches out my hand will get zapped very lightly.
As you reach out with the spear board, you feel a presence pulled from the estate. And it's now surrounding you. It is confused. It is angry. And it's hostile. Not necessarily to you, but it's clear that this thing is not sure what's happening right now. So it doesn't understand this connection that you've made. But you are now open. You get 3 questions. Each one will tick the clock.
Well, my question is not simple, but let's see what happens. And I'll take Elizabeth's hand. How can I break Evelyn's control over William?
Ooh.
Oh.
Harry looks slightly offended at your choice of priorities, but he doesn't say it.
All right. So there's a tick. The ball, you have to be touching it, Elizabeth, but it's just contact, right? And maybe a skeptic would see this and be convinced that you're the one moving the ball, but you know you're not. You're only ensuring that the connection's there. We see the ball start to wiggle. There's an oxidized smell that we're now getting in the air. And we see the ball start to roll. And it goes to F. It then rolls to A. It then rolls to an E. And it stops.
I kind of sigh. Faye.
It's a start.
Lady Rosalind, you seeing that, you go, oh. So suddenly now your interaction with Evelyn makes a little bit more sense. That she is definitely not human. She's not anything that you're very familiar with. But if she's Fae, then the idea of her making a deal, the idea of her being switched out or switched in like a changeling, all of that connects as soon as those 3 letters are spelled out.
I'll say that out loud. She's a changeling.
Oh, I've never had one of those on my table before.
Neither. Interesting.
I imagine I pull my hand from Charlotte's grasp and I turn towards Lady Rosalind and Harry. And I have my hand, and then there's a kind of an echo to my voice as I hold out. I hold out my hand to the 2 of you. Ask your question.
Who takes her hand?
I will defer to Lady Rosalind if she wants to go first.
I will hold my hand out then to Elizabetha. Jerk it back from the little shock for a second there. Put it in again, and I will say, what is Blackwood?
So the ball starts to shake. And it begins to roll to D, E, A, T, H. And it stops.
Not a fan of this board of yours.
I'm going to take a step back.
I nearly stumble. I'm just like, and then I look towards Harry, and there's also this kind of, I don't know, my eyes seem to have started glowing just slightly, and I hold out my hand and say, "Your question," and there's my voice is definitely gone down.
Mm-hmm. So he takes your hand, firmly, kind of takes the shock and just kind of goes. And he says, how can we stop what he's trying to do here?
It begins to roll. And unlike the first two questions, we see the ball just kind of meander a bit. And after a very long 20, 30 seconds, it begins to roll on the parchment towards the letters again. And it goes to K, N, I, F, E.
Harry kind of puts his other hand on the silver knife in his waistband.
Now, what happens here, Elizabetha, is as soon as that ball gets to E, you feel a ripping away. This presence, still that feeling of confusion, of anger, rips away outside of this gazebo. And you can tell that it's gone back to the house.
And I just grip the ball and kind of, I assume there's a bench, and just drop down, rest my hands on my arms on the table, and that was
Impressive.
You have always been such a talent in the esoteric.
There's something in that house. There's something really angry and hostile.
How does it all tie together?
Back. Oh God. I put my metal ball in my one of the pockets of my cape, and I kind of very carefully start folding up the waxed paper again, and just trying to put routine and trying to not show that I'm was quite intense, and I've done it once or twice before, but this was a whole other level. It never felt this hostile, this angry, this dangerous.
Did it feel like the same thing that was in my room last night?
Oh, maybe I'm not sure. I mean, they were both really angry. This one, or it's gotten even angrier. It's there. It's angry. It's dangerous. I don't know.
Harry, you see a footman with an umbrella running towards the gazebo.
Okay.
Shit.
I stand up and go to meet him.
He goes, Mr. Colgate, Mr. Colgate, you have to come. Lord Churchill asked me to find you. You have to come with me.
All right, so I'll just look at the other three, point to myself, point to the house, and go.
Okay. What are the three of you doing as Harry runs off with the footman?
I think I'm taking my time getting everything started, and I think Charlotte knows me well enough to see that I'm taking more time than I would usually have, and that there's a reluctance. I keep looking at the house and checking the folds of the paper again, and then start slowly putting on my gloves. So I'm rattled a bit. So
Charlotte, I'm going to hold my hands out for both the other ladies. Understand that this is a lot.
Yeah.
But we're going to make it through it. And if it gets more, we do have the option of leaving.
Though there is going to be more.
Well, we're already prepared. So
We
come.
shouldn't let Harry go off on his own.
Take my hand, and I'm going to also look for some iron. Because if I'm right, Fae are a little bit allergic to iron.
It's a good call.
I have to research. Come. And I'll take both their hands.
yeah. Well, yeah,
Harry,
you're right. We can't leave Harry alone.
Yes.
Harry, you get to the front steps. This footman takes you up. The door has already been opened, and you come into the main the main atrium entrance, and the grand staircase is in front of you. This footman he's not trying to clean off his boots. There's no time. But you can see like something has happened. The people downstairs, there's a lot of people with their mouth covered. There's a couple guests, women that are obviously very upset. Some of the men, there's confusion, and please, Dr. Mr. Colgate, please.
I'm following right on his heels.
Takes you up 2 flights, and you are approaching Lusk's room.
God damn it!
I don't follow.
And the door is open. And as you turn the corner, you see Randolph. You see Lord Churchill is in there. You see Lusk. On the bed is Lusk's wife. And there is blood everywhere. Soaked into the sheets. She has passed. It's very obvious that she has passed. The blood seems to be coming from her abdominal area, though the sheet has covered that, so you don't see it. But based on where the blood is just soaked.
Mm-hmm.
And in the corner is Lady Churchill, collapsed, with a shard of mirror in her hand. Jesus. And she is also covered in blood. Lord Randolph, shut the door!
I shut it.
I need a fear check from you, please.
Sure, that's fine. That's a reasonable thing to ask for.
Not
Oh
Um,
my god! Oh my god!
would you say that this was a fear check caused by a monster?
No.
Damn it. Okay. And that is
It's just a strange check.
strange. Okay, I wasn't sure what the stat was. Okay, so I only get minor advantage on this one. So I'm a hardened hunter.
Very good. So you are fine.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I'm not afraid.
As soon as the door gets shut, Randolph is there. He is now covered in blood just by
Mm-hmm.
touching Lady Lady Randolph,
Mhm.
Lady Churchill. She is blank stared, just no expression on her face.
Okay.
And you could see the grip she has on this large shard of glass mirror in her right hand. And she's just kind of collapsed in the corner.
Did anyone see what happened?
No, Jeannie, and he's like tapping her on their cheeks. Jeannie, look at me, Jeannie, and she's just.
I'm going to go over and kneel down by her, and I'm going to try as carefully and gently as I can to get the mirror out of her hand.
Doesn't
And okay, and while I'm doing that, not that I have any kind of metaphysical powers or anything, I am going to look and see if I see anything in the mirror that doesn't match up with the room.
So it's kind of to shine the mirror
Yeah,
around.
just as I'm turning it, is anything not right in the mirror?
Let's do a little strange check there.
L'estrange. All right. Sure. What could possibly go wrong here? I'll
Thank that luck as
thank
well.
that luck. Yep.
Yeah. As you shine the mirror around, Harry, you don't see anything other than what you would anticipate to be reflected. But what you feel is brief and recently familiar. And it's that presence. And that presence then leaves. But for that brief moment, this is the same thing that you interacted with back in the gazebo.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do me a quick smarts roll?
I can certainly try. It's not really my strong suit, but I will go ahead and spend that luck I just got.
Smart.
Yep.
You can get that luck back. You got
Mhm.
2 wits. You got a failure here with 2 wits. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it. One of the footmen says, "No, Mr. Colgate, we heard a scream. We came to the room. Lady Churchill was on top of her and just driving this mirror, and Lord Churchill
I'm just
goes,
gonna hold up a hand.
enough.
Yeah. Mhm.
Enough. You didn't see anything." Lusk is in the chair,
Mhm.
and he almost looks in the same condition as Jeannie.
Mhm.
I mean, he is obviously almost been broken and is just staring at his dead wife on the bed.
Mhm.
Harry, help me get her up. We got to get her to our room.
Yes, and I will do that. Does she seem to be any more with it now that that presence has left? Okay. Yeah, so I will say to the footman that was here, clear the hole. No one should see her like this.
Of course. And he gets a nod from Lord Churchill. And he says, of course. Goes out and give me just a moment. Just give me a moment. And he steps out, comes back, within seconds, and says, "Yes, we can go right to the room."
Okay.
And they do. The
Okay.
three of you, really two of you carrying one,
Mhm.
almost, get her to the master bedroom, the master suite.
Okay.
Harry, let's get her into bed. Let's get her into
Mhm.
bed. Or do
And
we clean her up? My
Uh,
God.
yes, we should probably. You or her ladies should probably clean her up. And I kind of ask him. I apologize for asking this question, especially for asking it now. Please trust me that I'm doing it for a reason. When I worked here, there were any number of symbols of your faith around here, between the crosses and the paintings and such. When did that change?
And he kind of looks around and goes, "Oh, that's yes. I don't know, Harry. Ask Westbrook. I have no idea.
Mm, I will
let,
ask
let me get her
Westbrook.
cleaned up. I'll send for you."
Very good, sir. And I will go, if I can, back to Lusk's room.
Okay. I want to cut to the three ladies. It sounded like we were headed back to the house. Nobody is answering or indicating what's happening. No one's being allowed to go upstairs.
Can I smell it from here?
Oh yes, you sure can.
I
An
will
excessive
quietly.
amount of blood, and you can tell whose it is because you smelled Susanna before.
I will quietly inform the other two ladies of that.
Oh, thank
We
God.
have a. I think that's the wrong reaction, Charlotte,
No,
to behave in
it
public.
wasn't me. Oh, you're right.
Public. You have to show appropriate responses.
Oh, no.
I've got it now. How sad. Yes, poor dear. Do these things.
Could you hear anything?
I don't hear anything now. Don't know any more than there is a large quantity and whose it is.
Yeah, what you can definitely tell, Lady Rosalind, you can definitely tell that it's her, and there's no way she has survived if this much blood has been exposed to the air. And you have a general sense it's on the third floor of the estate.
Probably in their room.
No.
I'll grab a footman. Can you get me a glass of wine, please? Thanks.
Of course. Let's cut to you, Harry. No one is intruding or messing with you at all. You head back to Lusk's bedroom.
Okay, and he's still there?
He is.
Mm-hmm. And I will kind of kneel down by him. And sir, I cannot possibly express my sorrow in what has happened to you, but we must try to find out what happened. Did you see or hear anything here before this happened?
And he's just blankly staring at his wife. But he kind of closes his eyes and kind of winces and shakes his head a little bit. He turns to you and he said, "Jeannie knocked on the door and came in, threw her forehead into the mirror," and you look over and you can see the wall mirror has been shattered, "grabbed the glass and attacked my wife. I tried to stop her, and she threw me across the room. I just watched Lady Churchill murder my wife. I can't... She's dead. And he slowly steps up and starts to walk towards her.
Mhm.
So somehow you've kind of broken whatever this
Yeah.
shock was.
If I may, sir, you shouldn't see her and think of her like this.
And he
Try and-
takes the sheet and covers her face.
I think you should get some air and perhaps a drink, sir, and we'll tend to what's necessary here.
I assume I need to talk to Aberline. I must talk to Aberline.
Very good, sir. And I'll like open the door, and is there a footman or a servant
Sure.
of some kind out there? And I say, will you take Mr. Lusk to Inspector Aberline's room, please?
And the footman nods. And Mr. Colgate, should we do anything?
And I will
gesturing.
Right. I will say quietly, preferably so Lusk can't hear me. If you can bring Dr. Charlotte up, and after a moment he says, and any assistance she might need.
Of course.
Very good.
This footman runs down to the steps and finds you, Dr. Charlotte, and says, Mr. Colgate has called for you.
Ah, yes. Ladies, let us go.
They'll be assisting you? You need them?
Yes.
Led up to the third floor. Harry is outside of the Lusk bedroom.
And I look at Charlotte, and basically I look at everybody except Rosalind. I look at Charlotte and Elizabeth, and I say, it's rather grim in there. And then I will open the door and let you see. And once we're in and the door is shut, I will recap what Lusk described.
I'm not going to go in.
Okay.
It's a bit much for me in there, overwhelming senses.
Yeah.
Also, Craig, I'm guessing I still have that bloodstained mirror shard.
If you don't have it on you, you know where it is. Yeah.
Right. I probably would have taken it and put it on the bureau or something.
Yep.
And I will point to it, kind of looking at Elizabeth. That's the murder weapon, if there's anything to be learned from it. I think it's that same malevolent presence that possessed Lady Spencer Churchill and led her to this.
Did Lady Churchill do it?
Yes, and that's Lusk said she came in, slammed her head into the mirror, grabbed a shard, and proceeded to do this.
Well, I am deducing it is at least possession, a strong possession, and the spirit is not a kind one.
Pick that up all by yourself, did you?
Dr. Charlotte, are you going to take a look at the body?
Yeah.
A smarts roll. And I think I want it with minor advantage. Because this is truly medical, this is your bag. So smarts, and just add yourself a skill die.
Okay.
And any luck if you want to add luck. Look at you.
She's smart.
3 smarts.
So smart.
All right. First success. This was a frenetic attack. It lines up with the story that Harry shared with you. Second success. The wounds are familiar.
Mm.
And it takes you a second. And you realize a drawing that was in the papers that showed this woman's wounds. And she has been stabbed in the same way, in the same locations. For the third success, I want you to remember that you have one. I don't think you're going to piece it together now. But just keep in mind that when it comes up to this attack and what you learned from the body, that I owe you a success, but I don't think I'm going to give you that information right now. But I owe it to you. So the next time we interact with the body, just remind me that you have an extra smart success.
Okay. I will.
The next time we interact with a body.
What are the odds?
This is the exact same places that Marianne Nichols was eviscerated.
I will share that with the group. This is the exact same wounds as Marianne Nichols.
We have to find a way to talk her down, or banish her or something.
Well, they're after Lusk. So what, besides him being on the case, what else has he done to piss a spirit off this badly?
I mean, judging from what the cadre was saying, he was just not doing enough.
I can believe that. I've met the man.
Speaking to him, he certainly sounds like he's got the best interest at heart, despite his reasoning for it. But
well, if he did, he wouldn't be here.
Aberline is the one I'm worried about.
Okay.
I've been standing back a little, not looking at the body, but I just kind of close my eyes and try and concentrate and feel, is that presence here or not at the moment?
It's in the house. But it's not concentrated here.
It was here. It's not here now, but it's close.
Can we maybe finding the original amulet, fixing it up, we might be able to trap it again. That's a possibility.
Mm-hmm. Do we still have that locket or the pieces of that locket? I
What?
think because was
back to Westbrook?
Westbrook never brought it back to the Caldries.
Right.
Yeah.
But
so that's the last chain of custody that we're aware of.
Okay.
I don't know how I put something like that back. I mean,
well, you'll be doing it with me, so you'll of course be successful.
It's angry. Maybe no, I don't think it's calmed down, but is it? Maybe it's still in Lady Churchill, or
no? I felt like it left. If that makes any sense.
Well, let's look at a positive. It's also trying to kill Mr. Lusk, and he is still alive, so we at least have bait. We need to be practical in this sense, at least.
Well, I mean, maybe sometimes. I mean, if sometimes the departed, they need resolution. They need some kind of satisfaction or a solution, and I don't know if we I don't know if we can
need
find
to solve the Whitechapel murders.
Yeah, well, I don't know unless the Whitechapel murderer is actually, here, and then I pause.
Well, if she can tell us, I say like a little bit more loudly and kind of to the air. If she can tell us who's behind this, maybe we can put a stop to it.
But
to be fair, we could have asked who the killer was when we had the chance.
I mean, wouldn't they have gone?
well.
Lady Rosalind, you are outside the room.
Pacing, yes. Just
You're pacing. There's a bit of chaos, some running around. Everybody's kind of staying clear of this room. There's staff going up and down the stairs. No guests are being allowed upstairs. You're essentially alone, which makes the whisper very startling. As if he was right here. And he whispers, "Come to me." Let's go to credits.
oh no!
In the year of 1888, under a moonlit sky so late, Harry hunts the shadows where the monsters lie in wait. Elizabeth's crystal ball reveals the hidden truth. She sees the threads of fate in the echoes of her youth. Dr. Charlotte's mad machines, sparked by a lightning's kiss, in her lab of darkened dreams, she concocts her twisted bliss. Lady Rosalind in satin, with a mask of pure disguise, holds secrets in her gaze behind her emerald eyes. At the Churchill country estate, where the darkness whispers fade, a Halloween masquerade, where fears in masks cascade. In the Gothic halls they roam, far from Whitechapel's door, the hunters and the haunted, beneath the crimson moon. In the mansion's haunted halls, where the shadows come alive, the whispers of the Whitechapel murders keep the night deprived. Harry wields his silver blade in search of beasts unseen, while Elizabeth's visions dance in spectral silver sheen. Dr. Charlotte's laugh rings wild through the midnight's chilling air. Her creations stir and shudder with a manic deadly flare. Lady Rosalind glides through with a grace that chills the bone. In the gallery's eerie glow, they stand together.
Oh, you should have heard the squeals.
Oh, so many.
I think I have to start with you, Amy. So we'll do thoughts, and that's like, thoughts on the game and the system.
I love this game.
Stars and then wishes.
I love this game. I love it. It's so much fun. It's one of the best things ever. I'm going to be talking about it all day, and my coworkers are going to be so sick of me talking by the end of the shift. I love it. My stars tonight is you, Craig. Come on, Lord Blackwood. Woo. Lord Blackwood, you are most definitely the star of the game. But I have to give a nice little nod also to "You Have No Home" out there. Like
That's a good line.
Punch in the feels on that one.
Like, it's all I got.
Oh, ow. That hurt, Harry. Stop. Oh, man, my wishes. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, when are we
Cannot wait.
scheduled? I know we've got.
It's not soon enough. Not soon
it's
enough.
I think it's after camping.
Yeah.
No.
19th of October?
Yeah, that
That's what
sounds
I
right.
Yeah.
I'll put it
so
on
we got
there.
we got a little bit over a month
I hate
before you
it.
get a chance to answer the call.
Boo, I'm going.
So I think the next person I have to talk to is Naomi. This was quite an episode for you. So thoughts, stars, and wishes.
That was so cool too.
I think thoughts. Well, again, just loving the interaction and where this is going, and there's all these different types of threads, and I think that leads me to my stars. Is actually the 3 questions that were asked, and none of them related to what's
The
what's
actual
the actual mystery. And then of course Charlotte saying, we could have asked that question. So I think that for me is just I really love that. So and well, you can't give me I said it in the group before, but you can't give me a present like that and me not use it. So I think that was Craig just making sure that we tick the doom clock into
yeah.
It's funny because I've been struggling a little bit. Ghosts are tough, and I was going to allow you to definitely connect with the ghost with just with your abilities and your crystal ball, and then I came across that spirit board, and I'm like, this is perfect. This is perfect, and boy, just again fits the genre, fits the game that we're playing. So, what are you wishing for, Naomi?
I think wishing to find out what Blackwood's doing to this and in this, and I think, as I said, there's just all these threads we didn't really get. We got a small little bit about Evelyn and William. I think William and the brother.
Yep.
That's exciting.
So there's just so much to find out. So just wishing to find out more.
Brian, thoughts, stars, and wishes.
Oh boy. Well, the thoughts, I mean, as everyone has said, this is such a fantastic table and such a fantastic set of characters. I cannot express how much fun it is. When we had our first break, there was a lot of talk about how we were going to dreamcast this as a TV series, and I need to give that some thought, because this definitely needs to be made into an ongoing story. But yeah, I'm just having a blast. Stars, I mean, again, everyone had their moments and they were all great. I think I have to give it to Amy, because when we finally got to see, I think it's fair to say, the most individually powerful of us just get sat down and put in her place, was simultaneously amusing and terrifying.
And great role playing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Amy nailed it.
Yeah, the ability as a player to not go for the power fantasy, to acknowledge what was really happening there in that situation. There's a lot of players that wouldn't be as honest as you were, Amy. So I'm with you.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot. And then wishes, obviously want to play again as soon as possible, but I'm also simultaneously eager and terrified to find out what this is going to do to Winnie. That's going to be a whole goddamn thing for Harry.
Yep. Yeah, that's you know what? I had not thought about that, but that's a really good point.
Oh, you're a monster, Craig. You have to think of what this will do to the family.
What about the children?
Tearing us apart.
All right, Dika, thoughts, stars, and wishes.
Oh my gosh, this is freaking exciting. It's like no combat is even happening, and I'm like all in. And the fact that we took like such a long break and we just all instantly got back in characters is amazing.
Yeah.
I want to say my star, so it kept switching. Like, I love the questions. That was amazing. I love every time Harry and Rosalind interact. It's always a good time. But gosh, there was just something about Sir Percival Blackwood and Rosalind's scene that just stole it for me. I was like, okay, you guys win. It was just that child. It's like, love a good vampire lord.
Right. Right.
Beautiful.
Yes. Yes.
And that has to be my star. Like, mwah, chef's kiss.
Wishes?
I don't have any wishes. Like, I think Charlotte got hers. She won't be immediately put in
you
jail.
Go to the basement. Don't lie.
Oh yeah, see what's in the basement.
You're
right.
That last.
Yeah, you've got a corpse for autopsy.
Also
So
got a curse for all. I don't, Mr. Lusk may be against that, but I don't
May be
know.
distracted now.
We can only use hysteria so many times.
What's really interesting is, from a meta standpoint, we're playing Shiver Gothic, right? And I've got a vampire, a Frankenstein scientist, a fortune teller, seer, and a monster hunter. Like, we know or have an idea of what the hell's going on here. What I think is interesting is, what does everybody else in this house think is going on? Because as far as that's concerned, we've had Dr. Charlotte attack this woman. And then we had the lady of the house murder her. And, we can easily forget that this is not normal. Right? Like, in the context of the game we're playing, it might be. But I'm really interested to see, and I don't really know yet. I'm going to have to play them as the same way you guys are playing your characters to really understand, what does this mean in here. And I think that Aberline is going to be interesting. I mean, we've got the chief inspector of Scotland Yard in this house. So
And
I'm anxious.
there's the huge class difference, and I wonder how much of this has gotten out that they know it was Lady Churchill.
I'm helping it.
I mean, servants talk. You're hard.
Well,
Servants most definitely talk.
You have a great point, Naomi. There is a huge class difference between Lusk and the
Yeah.
Churchills, right? Not to mention, the other thing. So that I think is gonna be really interesting. Just before we close out, though, real quick, do we have any working theories, thoughts? Like, what? I'd love to hear where we think we are and what do we think we know.
I got nothing.
I'm just excited.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Is it like multiple different things going on? Is
I
it
think-
one thing going on?
My-
Why is it going on? Oh,
My
so
much to find out.
working theory is that this has all been on some level orchestrated by Blackwood, because it's like, I think, because obviously the whole thing with, he arranges for the household staff to leave, he brings his staff in, they sort of clean up all the religious stuff, and that may just be for his convenience, but I think it also is maybe enabling what's going on here. I don't know if Blackwood is the Ripper Killer. It seems a little bit low class for him, but I think he's somehow involved, and the whole thing to bring the spirit in here through the Cowdreys and have this craziness going is a way to, I mean, maybe he's just trying to destroy Churchill's reputation, but maybe there's something else going on that he's trying to distract from.
Can I just say this? Like, maybe it's just Lusk that's the Ripper Killer.
Oh.
What makes you say that?
Interesting.
Because, like, in this sense, the spirit is out to get Lusk, and it can't be just because, you're not doing enough. And to kill the wife in the same fashion, that could just be karma.
Could be.
That's
Just a theory.
interesting.
It's very interesting.
I think the ghost has reasons for targeting who she's targeting, and I can't wait to find them out.
but is the ghost misled?
Sure.
Maybe. Oh gosh.
We're gonna
So
find
much.
out in a
Ah!
couple weeks.
No.
So that's
Other
that's a promise from you. We're going to get those answers in the
Oh
in
yeah,
the
all of
next
them. All of them. in the
Okay.
first
All of
10
them in the
minutes
next
of
episode?
six.
Awesome.
We've got a lot of really fun things coming up. We've got a one shot of Something Is Wrong with This House, the Ghost Hunt variant coming up. And then we've also got For the Queen being played. And then the premiere of Outgunned, which is, as much as this is a genre that we're playing here, Outgunned takes 90s action movies and just perfectly executes them. The group that we have playing that is unbelievable. Some familiar faces and some new faces. So I cannot wait to do that. But see everybody soon.
Yeah.
Cheers. all.
Yay!
Thank you.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.